it's Melissa. In this video, we are going to go through 3 steps to getting your Siser Juliet cutting machine set up and going so that you can make your first cut. We're not going to do our first cut here, but what we are going to do is we are going to go through the main settings that you need to focus on the touch screen to get your machine in cutting order. We are going to talk exactly about how to set up that cutting blade, which is probably a little bit different than what you're used to with other craft cutting machines. And we are going to talk about how to register and download the software so that you are all ready to begin your cutting. So let's start with the blade.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is set up the blade. So the first time that you set up the blade, you're going to use the blade housing, and then you have 3 blades that come with the machine. So you've got 2 reds, those are the 45-degree angle blades, and then the blue one is a 60-degree. Now, the blades come with a cover on them, so you need to remove that cover. So the rubber part is the cover itself. This is the actual blade. Okay, you can kind of see it there. It's very small. This is just the end. All right, so the end is what is going to go into the blade holder. So what you're going to do, and this is a little bit different if you're used to using a Silhouette Cameo or a Cricut, this is more like a CB09. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to place the more blunt end, the part that did not have the cover on it, into the blade carriage, okay, and it's going to go, that one went all the way down. So what you're going to do is to expose more or less of the blade, you're going to turn this silver part of the blade. Now, to tighten the blade and keep it into place, once you get it in position, you're going to turn the gold part. So how much of the blade do you want exposed? It's very hard to see. I'm trying to get it so you can kind of see. But basically, you want the amount of blade sticking out that's about the height of a credit card. So I'm not using a credit card here because I don't want my number on this video. But I have a card and I'm just rubbing my finger. I can barely feel the blade. So it's a very, very small amount that's sticking out of there, but that's what you want. So you want to make sure it's tight. This, once you get it to the right height, make sure you tighten that gold piece. Now, once you have the blade in the blade carriage, or in the blade holder, we're going to put it into the blade carriage. All right, so now we are going to load the blade into the carriage. So this is the carriage. It's a little bit difficult to see, and I'll try to get you a side angle, is that you have this round part, which is where the blade is going to drop in. But what you want to do is you want to place the blade down this way. However, what you don't want to do is you don't want this lip of the blade above this part here. That actually needs to be below. So you need to unscrew the screw far enough so that this little black piece falls back enough, or pulls out enough so that the blade can fall completely down. And you see now how there's no gap here. You've got this little ridge is resting right along that cylindrical part there. And then all you're going to do is screw the lock back in tight. Now, what that does is it keeps the blade in secure and tight, okay? So if you have set up your blade correctly, making sure that the depth is the correct depth, and then you have it locked into place, you should have no real issues with cutting. So now we are going to move on to talk about the touch screen, which has several things that you're going to want to do to set up before your initial cut. Okay, so the home screen, the touch screen, can be accessed with the lid of the machine either up or down. Now, until the machine is actually powered on by pressing the button on the front, you will not have anything on the touch screen. Once the touch screen turns on, the Juliet will welcome you, and then you will get the home screen. And from there, you will have access to all of your settings. Now, before you make your first cut, there's a couple of settings through the touch screen that you're going to want to get familiar with. So we're going to start by clicking settings, and this is just a touch screen, so you're just going to touch it. So under general settings, we're going to start there first. This is where you're going to have access to that LED light. So I'm going to open this up just so you can see. So the LED light is the light that shines in the machine. If you want to turn it on or off, you just click LED and then you have the option here to turn on or off. And if you want to change the brightness, you can do that as well by adjusting. You can slide. Totally up to you. If you want to turn it off, you just do it like that. Now, if you ever want to go back to the home screen, you're just going to press this arrow here at the top, and that will take you back to the previous screen. So alert. What is alert? Alert is one that you are going to want to decide if you want on or off. So if you're going to run your machine and then walk away, if you want it to alert you when it has completed the cut, you can turn on the chime and it will just let you know, like beeping like a heat press would, that the cutting is done. I don't think I'm going to like that. The other option that you have is you can have it so that the LED light will go on when the cutting is complete. So again, if you want that, go ahead. These are really just preferences for you. All right, so go back to the home screen again, and sleep is just going to turn on or off the touch screen after a certain amount of time. So you can adjust this if you want. If you don't want it to go off, then set the time really high. Okay, and then units. So you're going to want to go into unit most likely, especially if you're used to working in inches as opposed to metric system. So we're just going to change this to inches here, and we'll go back again. And then language, it's set to English, but if you need to change it, you can go ahead and do that there. Now, from the home screen or the general settings screen, I'm going to go back. I've been through all of these menus. So now I'm going to go back, and this time I'm just going to go to Wi-Fi, and this is how you're going to set up that Wi-Fi connection. Now, of course, you have the ability and the option to use USB, but if you want to cut wirelessly, without being tethered to your computer, you can set up the wireless network. So you're just going to tell it that you want to scan to find the Wi-Fi network. Now I have a couple of Wi-Fi networks here at my house, so it's probably going to find 2 different ones. And when it does, it's then going to ask you to enter the password. So that's the network password. Just give it a couple of minutes. Hopefully your Wi-Fi network, there you go. So you can see I have multiple different networks here. And I will pick the one that I want to use and then click apply. And then I'm going to enter my password, which I'm going to do off camera. After you've entered your password, you'll want to click join, and then it's going to come back to this screen, and then make sure you click apply so that you can complete the setup. You can see it's now telling me that it's connecting, and once it does that, I should get confirmation that I have set up the Wi-Fi connection, and you can see that now it is saying it is connected. So that's perfect. Very, very easy in order to do that. Now you have a couple of other options. None of them you really need to set up before your first cut, but you can go in and just kind of see. The camera is going to give you the ability looking for those registration marks when you're doing a print and cut. USB, you have the option to put your designs on a USB and plug that USB into the back. It's back down here by the power cord if you want to do that. And then you have system information. This is just, probably if you need service or something like that, you'll want to tell them. So again, these are the main settings that you are going to want to set up on the touchscreen before you make your first cut. And the final thing that we'll want to set up is the software, which we will do online. Okay, so in order to download the software needed to run the Juliet cutter, you are going to go to setup.siser.com. When you get to the website, you will want to click that you are setting up your Juliet cutting machine. Now, if you don't already have an account, you'll want to create one. So I'm just going to create an account here. The next step is going to be to download and install the Leonardo Design Studio, which is the software for the Siser Juliet cutting machine. So I'm going to link in the description of this video and in the comments a link for where you can download the free software, and then you will just download that and then continue through the setup, and it will just walk you through exactly where you want to install it. If it's asking you for a password, that is not the password that you entered here, that is your computer password, okay? You need to go into your applications, and I should tell you that this is good for both. The software works on both a Mac and a PC. All right, so then what you'll have to do is go into your applications. You can see I have Leonardo here, and I'll just double click that, and it will either launch or ask me to move to my applications. I already had it on my computer, so that's why you're seeing it this way. So here you go. And then all you're going to want to do, you can see because I already created my account and I'm logged in, it automatically logs me in here. Once you have the software installed on the computer, now you're going to want to make your first cut. But before you can do that, you need to register your machine. So from the software, go to Siser Cutter, and that is going to loop you here onto this page where it's going to tell you to register your machine. Now, of course, you only need to do this the first time, and it is a good idea in order to do this so that you can keep your software firmware up to date, and if you ever need to activate your warranty, you'll have your machine registered. So when you click register machine, it's going to take you back to the Siser website, where again, I'm still logged in, you'll want to click Juliet Cutter. Now this is where you're going to want to enter the serial number. If you go back to the touch screen, and if you click on system information, that is where you will find your serial number, the serial number being the MPID number. So enter that here. All right, so after you have registered your machine, now it's going to come back again and ask you if you want to download the software. We have already done that, so we can skip this step. But if you haven't done this already, now you would download the software from here. All right, guys, now that you have your software set up, your machine registered, you know how to get into the settings and get those settings correct on the touchscreen, and your blade is correctly installed, you are ready for your first cut. So I have another video for you on how to make your first cut, and of course, we are going to start with heat transfer vinyl.